Hey guys, this is another video, and this video is about ENTP and weed, cannabis, because this guy is lighting up a chillum. He's one of our gods and he's really cool. We got some really dope gods. So this video is going to be about ENTP and effects of weed on an ENTP. Or basically any kind of cannabis on an ENTP, and we'll debate our way towards a verdict. The verdict about whether we should do it or not, whether an ENTP should really be consuming any kind of cannabis at all, or he should not. So if you have really little attention span and you just want to click on that video in the sidebar about an elephant humping a sugarcane, here's a little verdict for you. No, don't do it. It's not good for you. It doesn't give you enough benefits for you to choose it. So don't. Now, if you are here to follow the explanation, thanks. First, we are also going to talk about how it affects us. I mean, what kind of high I used to get, or my other any DOMs friends used to get, and what made me think, what episode took place in my life that really made me think about it rationally. So I'll tell you what happened actually. 6 months ago, when by that time I'd been using weed for like 2.5 years, mostly like a weekend user, and there were times when I fucking binged on it. So I'd been smoking it quite a lot. And then something happened in my life, and I had to go abroad for 2 months back to back. And in kind of countries where you cannot simply just score weed. I'm sorry, I'm drinking some beer, so that'll explain the burps to you. So I went to Singapore for a month, followed by a month in Dubai. And in both these countries, it's very difficult to score weed if you're not a big shot. There are laws against any kind of drugs, even though weed is not narcotics. Still, it's very difficult to score any of those drugs in these countries. And I really didn't want to. So 2 months, me cleaning, really clean, haven't smoked any kind of weed at all. And 45 days almost into it, and I've become this fucking intense version of myself, the sharpest I've ever known myself. You know, the kind of version you become when you have an exam to follow, some exam you sign up for and you're very enthusiastic about it, but the exam is 6 months down the line and you have already made the fucking blueprint where you know what you all have to study and all resources to follow for you to know the best about any topic that'll come up, that'll be asked in this exam, and you'll fucking top it. You'll be better than your goddamn professors. But it's already 5 months and 28 days and you realize all you know is a fucking outline of all the topics and you don't really know shit, and now you're in trouble. But somehow you activate this amazing avatar of yourself who is so productive right now, who is so multitasking, and in 2 days he does a lot of study and somehow still ends up getting decent marks, if not the best or the top, of being the top performer. So I activated that version of myself after 45 to 50 days by accident because I wasn't smoking any. And then I just, started to see some pattern that maybe I was thinking it's just part of growing up, but maybe cannabis has something to do with you being not able to activate that version of yourself. First of all, that version of yourself, let's call him Shiva. It's much smaller a name. Plus, this guy is also called Shiva, and weed does not really affect him in any bad ways at all. He fucking lights up a chillum and then creates the world. Unlike us, we just go to our blanket, close the curtains. Anywho, so as I was saying, I became this Shiva version of myself, and then I just thought maybe weed might have something to do with me being lazy and a piece of shit. So when I came back to my country, I did it again. And I just realized that the flow that I was in was really disrupted. And then I just wanted to make it sure. I went on a trip to this place in India called Kasol. It is that place, that village has the world's best hash. It's called Malana Cream. Amazing. You should all try to smoke it once in your life. Anywho, so I went there and it was my birthday, so we really binged on it. We really did. For 4 days we were doing nothing but smoking weed, and then we were binging on food because of munchies and all. And when I came back to my office, the following week, I could not sit down on a chair. I just could not sit on my workstation for 8 hours. It was so much of a pain. It was like I was in some kind of a fucking prison. I had like 20 coffees in a day that day. it was just too much for me. And that's simply because I was not getting interested in anything. Even if I'm opening up like 20 tabs of random stuff that I would generally like to study, I was just not getting caught up in it. And I was so unsettled in my chair right after binging on a lot of weed. And those effects kind of subsided after a few days. But it took a while before I could actually spend 8 hours on a chair without too much of a hassle. And me achieving that Shiva phase again, that was like few months down the line. So I kept on doing these experiments on me, taking a little bit of weed after spending a very productive day and all. And I just realized it does alter my brain chemistry in a way that I become, if I don't become lazier, at least go back into that phase of becoming a lazy. So that's why I realized why it is so fatal to me. Now I do understand that it affects different people differently. There were some people I know who reported who became fucking exceptional painters after smoking it up. They were average, and they made some masterpieces while they were high on weed, and they got this intense focus which I never seem to get. I'm all over the place. I'm fucking making a joke here, and then I'm weaving out a theory about a scientific theory about some thing I just ate, and then I'll run and hug my buddy there, and then I'll jump on the wall. I'll do all these things in a matter of few seconds, and then after the high wears off, I'm all exhausted. So it's all fun. I really enjoyed doing it. But when I really understood that how it somehow affects me in a very in a negative way, that I was not getting able to do anything, to achieve anything in my life, I really thought better of it. I still do it from time to time, but I consciously try to control it. I consciously try to not do it at all. Now, there have been few studies about it too. Then, of course, my ENTP in me, the scientific, the anti in me got activated, and he went onto the internet, read almost every web page about it, about all the studies that have been carried out, and there is a very mixed response. You'll find studies who absolutely dismiss anything against weed, and they're very credible, from credible sources. There are some studies that tell you that how it can cause you a motivational syndrome. Look it up. This is when our mind, we function because of dopamine. We basically achieve anything in life because of dopamine. We see the reward in getting something, and I see the reward in getting my dishes clean so that I can have my next meal in a clean plate. So that reward somehow produces this reward. I'll get a reward, this subconscious thing, and this is why I do any task in my life. And this is just same with anything that you do, any undertaking that you pursue. It's mostly because there is some conscious or subconscious reward related to it. Now that also gives you dopamine, but this fucking when you are motivated, that dopamine level goes down so much. It's like you don't relate any reward to any activity that you have to do in your day-to-day life. Say if you have to go out and get some food yourself, there is a reward that you will get fed. And if you have a sane mind, that'll be enough dopamine for you. But if you don't have sane mind, that'll be like not enough dopamine for you, and you won't be really motivated to do that too. Now weed aids that kind of behavior, that where I discussed how you won't have enough dopamine. Look it up, a motivational syndrome. Many studies will tell you that, and very credible sources. And that's when I just realize it's just not what we should really be doing, and it's just fucked up. So, first of all, many of you ENTPs are already in a phase where you are thinking, even if I just want to procrastinate, I don't want to get anything done in my life, why should I really care? This is also okay. I'm playing video games, and that's fun. But here's the thing: when you have that drive to get basically whatever you are in your life right now, whatever you earn, whoever you have in your life, or whatever feats you have achieved, it's not because of 10,000 days of your life. It's because of those 100 or 200 days of that Shiva phase in your life. That's how we ENTPs work. Whatever we achieve, any jobs we land, or any businesses we establish, it's all because we have been in that Shiva phase during the right times in our life. And we spend rest of the 9,000 days just fucking, thinking up stuff, random stuff, alternate realities and all that. So it's very important to get that drive in you once in a while. At least in a month you should, an ENTP level 10 must at least get 7 days of Shiva phase in his life. If you're not getting enough of that, you have to make some lifestyle changes. You should. I mean, you can be comfortable with the other way around, but that fucking really, I don't like that. I wouldn't want to see meet an ENTP who does not want to be a very productive version of himself. Because we do waste a lot of our conscious life. It's just how we are wired. So if say you lose all of that drive, I mean, this is how an ENTP works, right? You are doing your dishes. It's such a fucking menial task, but then you look around, think of something, and there is this amazing idea. Now, if you're at least an ENTP level 5, you'll go back and catalog that idea so that you can act upon it, or you can ponder upon it later, and if it is really doable, you'll start doing it. But imagine if you're not doing any activity in any works, the inputs that extroverted intuition gets, it's all out in the world, or the events you participate in, or the things you do. If you're not really doing anything, if you are always somewhere in here going from this part of the brain to that part, or that part of the brain to this part, and getting fucking traffic jams in between, you're never gonna get those ideas that are also source of your motivation. So if you are just having a functional life, by functional I mean you are following a routine, doing few menial tasks a day, but also pursuing your interests or these funny ideas you have been coming up with, then that just fucking defines you. That's who you are. That's your actual self. But if somehow some fucking drug is coming in the way of that, you should really get rid of that. It's just those few hours of fucking running around, high-fiving, jumping around is just not worth it. Is it? It's not. Drink beer instead. So this was the motivation for this video, because many of us may subconsciously already know it, but we just don't give enough a fuck. And one of the reasons why don't we give enough a fuck, because of our very poor SI. I think I'm so jealous of an SI Dom person. I think if an SI Dom person would start to smoke weed, he would fucking realize, or this is what my understanding of SI is, he would fucking realize it, his body would tell him that this drug you have been doing somehow is altering the way you function, or you are becoming lazier and all that, so don't do this drug. But we have such poor SI that it took me like 2 years to figure that shit out. Finally, I was in Dubai and sitting around my chair and so fucking functional. I was fucking Shiva, and then I just realized, how did I become Shiva? I have never become Shiva in like last 4 years since I left my college. How did this happen? And then I somehow one of the any idea, maybe it was weed, and then I followed that with my TI. Yeah, it could be. Let's run this experiment to confirm, right? So poor SI also contributes to that. I'm a little kind of digressing a lot today because of this. But, this is what you should be doing right now. If this makes any sense to you, even if it doesn't make any sense to you, it's okay. Weed affects different people differently. So that is my argument against you. But if it just affects you the way I have been saying, or if you have been fucked up in your life, not able to do anything lately, and you are attributing it to the fact that you are growing up, changing environments, moving cities, well, that might be that is actually the reason, but probably weed is just fucking aiding it. So run this fucking social experiment. If you have been a user of weed, smoke it few more times, and then just fucking, take a look at yourself the next few days. Have you become a little bigger piece of shit? If you haven't, then maybe go ahead. No, still don't go ahead. Your SI is just not still functioning enough. So run this social experiment. If you think on the same terms, thank me in the comments. Okay? Okay. Bye.